This course is very important because not only are you learning about a perspective of Aboriginals, but you're also learning about Canadian history and how it's impacted the history of Canada as a whole. And so, personally for me, I'm not a history buff, but I was so fascinated by some of the things I was learning and how it's even played into not just the cultural aspects of Aboriginals, but political, things like that. Like, for example, learning about things like the White Paper, Meech Lake Accord, things like that that I had never heard of before, and then I'm able to tie it into, events in history, and then how that's impacted Aboriginals, how that's impacted Canada as a whole, and it's just absolutely amazing.
I think it really kind of kills the stereotypes. There's typical, what you think, Aboriginal people typically like and what Asian people typically like. It kind of kills that. Like, not all Native people are the same. They're all different as individuals.
We've learned about their ceremonies and their traditions, and their ceremonies are really intricate and they're really connected to their environment and their ancestors. And it's just really interesting to see that deep devotion and connection to the earth and nature and to their past.
Of just how they treated everyone as equal, and of how women had a really dominant role in that society. You don't see that in European culture.
I'd say there are different types of celebrations. They lived off the environment, and everything in their culture was through the environment. They worshiped the environment. They were essentially a part of the environment. That's how they survived.
I really liked the field trips that we went on and stuff like that. When I was in Essex, we went to Scanado, and you could actually touch the things that they made and buy some of their things, and it's all natural, and it's really cool to be able to relate with them.
Prior to this course, I wasn't really aware of the issues that Aboriginal peoples face, and I wasn't really aware of any of the historical background that they have had in Canada. And after this course, it kind of opened up my eyes to the issues that they face. And in the grade 11 course, we kind of learned about the history, and I can truly say that I've learned more about Canadian history in this course than I have in any history course.
I have a Native background. My dad's side of the family is Métis, and I really can relate to it because it's they have their own beliefs and everything like that, and it's more about themselves and everyone around them. They have a more natural way of viewing things, and that's kind of how I view it.
Well, I'm not Native, but I just find that it's really interesting learning about Aboriginals and learning about all the other different cultures and how their background is and what ceremonies they have and stuff like that compared to mine, where there's Chinese New Year, but there actually isn't a specific event or holiday for Natives or Aboriginals.
My family, we lived in a city in Croatia, and there was a war between the Serbians and the Croatians, and we got forced to leave our house, and we every time I go back there, there's a certain way that they speak and the way that we speak, and we're not supposed to speak our way there because it's still kind of the hatred. And that kind of goes with the Aboriginals. They weren't allowed to speak their language, and they were kind of kicked out of their homes and their lands. So I can make that distinction and connection.
What I believe is the most significant thing I've learned is the unmitigating struggles they've gone through. I never really understood just how amazing they've been to go through all of that and to still have the strength to want to regain their sovereignty, to still want to be somebody, to want to represent their culture with pride rather than letting past events hold them down. So that's been absolutely amazing for me to learn about because it makes me even more proud to call myself Aboriginal.
This is a course that you should be aware of. This is our history. This is our true history based on Aboriginal, our Indigenous people being here first, followed by the French and the English, and how we tried to accommodate them, how we tried to assimilate them, and now we have to understand that we treated them very badly for a long time.
Is Native Studies a course just for Native students? The answer is no. Some First Nation students have a limited knowledge of their own culture. Unfortunately, that's a legacy of the residential schools. And I think one of the big things we try to get across to Native and non-Native students is that the Native community is not homogenous. Different bands have different traditions, spirituality, and so those are some of the things that we try to get across. Again, we're trying to bring in the Native voice through poetry, poems, video, and we're really trying to let that speak for itself.